I have told African Americans before you come to Ghana or anywhere else in Africa, study the culture.
Absolutely.
Find out what the protocols are, how you should act, how should you deal with elders, how do you deal with kings, how do you deal with priests, how do you deal with chiefs. You have to know all these protocols. Otherwise, you could always offend someone. And when you offend someone, it's not easily forgiven.
Absolutely.
So even though I feel at home here, I still have to realize that my link to Africa was broken.
Right.
Okay, so there's that whole big gap in there between us. And so when we come to Ghana, and I'll tell this again to diasporans, try not to bring necessarily your culture here and how you deal with people. You have to deal differently. You have to have respect for folks here. You know, because we haven't been here all this time. You have. So if I come in here and I disrespect you, I disrespect your home, I disrespect your children, we're not going to get along.
Absolutely.
Okay, by the same token, we don't like to be called Obrunis because we're not.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Aklevi Joe. Guess what? We are still in the diaspora transition. We are here with Mama Fasi, our grandmom, our mother, our sister, who has been here for a very long time. You know what? She has a whole lot to share about Ghana, why she came to Ghana. Can you just tell us more about you, why you came to Ghana, why you were able to discover Ghana, and what's going on in Ghana with you too as well?
Okay. All my life, I've been attracted to Africa. I've been told lies about Africa from the United States. The lies that I was told that all Africans were primitive. They only lived in mud huts. And so a lot of us Americans believed that to the point where we decided we were not African. Some African Americans claim that they're Native Americans, not Africans, because they were ashamed of being called an African American. But me, I always loved the African culture. And I started looking in picture books when I was very young, and I said, these people look like me. They have the same color skin, they have the noses, the lips, they look just like me. And then I started noticing that even in my neighborhood, I saw people that looked like the people in the book from Africa.
Right.
So that was the beginning of it for me. Then I went to Case Western Reserve. I'm moving forward pretty quickly. I went to Case Western Reserve in the United States, one of the best universities in the United States. And I was taking modern dance classes because I wanted to be a dancer. And then one day, a woman named Catherine Dunham came to visit the university and did a master class. Catherine Dunham was a famous Caribbean-style dancer. She was in movies, television, all of that. And she brought a drummer with her that was playing something called the djembe. I'd never heard of it, never seen it. But when he started playing, it was like something in my heart just woke up. At the end of the class, Miss Dunham said, and I went to her and she whispered in my ear, she said, this is your culture.
Right.
This is what you need to be studying. And so that really hit hard for me. Shortly after that, I left the university, I left Cleveland, and I moved to New York City. And there I was introduced to more of the African culture by a man named Olatunji, Baba Olatunji. Another man named Chuck Davis, I went to his dance class and I walked into the room and it was a huge room. I mean, 3 or 4 times as big as this room. And all the people were Black. And the little children were dressed in African clothes. Everybody was dressed in African clothes. This is in the United States, in New York City.
Yeah.
And the drummers were playing and the dancers were dancing, and everybody welcomed me like I was part of the family. The children were just running around. Nobody was yelling at the children. They were learning the dances. And that's where I started learning and teaching the African dance.
Oh.
Moving forward, I came back to Cleveland, and I just had a baby. In fact, I had my baby in Cleveland, my first child. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna keep moving forward until you ask me questions.
Right.
So I started my own dance company with a woman who was from Karamu House, the oldest Black theater in the United States.
Yeah.
And her name was Marjorie Wood Johnson. She took the dance company, first dance company, from Karamu House to the World's Fair in the early 1930s.
Oh.
And so I met her at Karamu House, and I told her what I wanted to do, and she said, I'll help you.
Right.
So we started the Imani African American Dance Company.
Wow.
And this was back in 1985.
Oh.
Yes. And so the dance company traveled all around the country performing for 11 years. And then I decided I was still thinking about coming to Africa. And so I've been teaching this group of psychologists. Imagine me, someone who had come from the inner city, teaching these psychologists. Their group name was the Gestalt Institute. Gestalt. You're right. And so I've been teaching them 2 or 3 times workshops. On this last workshop, I watched them get into a huddle. They were like whispering, and I was packing up my drums. And so one of them came over to me and he said, have you ever been to Africa? And I said, nope, but I definitely want to go. Ooh. And so he said, well, we decided we're going to send you, and we're going to pay for everything.
That's a dream come true.
Yes. And so they said, well, you choose where you want to go, and we'll pay for everything. I chose Ghana.
Wow.
And this was in the mid-90s. So I got to Ghana. An old dance teacher gave me a list of names and numbers to get in contact, to find a place to stay. I came by myself. I arrive in Ghana at 9:30 at night, have no idea where I'm going to stay. I have a list of numbers. The phones were down.
Oh.
Couldn't call anybody. And so I'm standing there at the airport at night, and all these taxi drivers are coming, Madame, I'll help you. And I'm freaking out.
So nice people.
Oh, they were very nice, but they were pushy. And then this one guy who was very quiet came up to me and he said, Madame, let me see your list. And so I showed him the list. He says, I know exactly where this is. No worries, I can take you right here.
Wow.
So we get there, and there's a man holding a baby in his arms. And he says, the driver says, do you know this person? He says, oh, yes, that's my auntie. So he says, she's not home now, but you can come in and wait for her.
Yeah.
So I go into the house. It's a big, beautiful house.
Whoa.
And it turns out that it was her brother's house, who was running for president.
Ooh.
And so I go in and I'm sitting down and I'm waiting for her to come in. And she comes in, she's a little small lady. And she's smoking a cigarette, which surprised me, you know. And she comes in and she goes, who are you? And I said, well, Jeannie sent me. Jeannie, that was my old dance teacher. Yes, she sent me. Oh, she has a lot of nerve to send someone to my house without letting me know. I started looking for my suitcase and trying to figure out where am I going to go, because this lady, she's not happy.
Too rude.
She's not happy. And then she changed and she said, come upstairs. And she took me upstairs in the house. And she said, this isn't my nephew's room. He's away at school, and so you can stay here. So I spent the whole summer with this lady.
Wow.
And I went to a lot of ceremonies. I went to a funeral, and it was interesting, but the funeral cloth that she put me in, I didn't know any of the people.
Yeah.
But they accepted me.
Yeah, you knew nothing about the culture. You knew nothing.
Only what I felt. And so there were babies who were placed on my lap, and when it was time to eat, I didn't have food, and they brought out a bowl of water, and I know they were watching me to see which hand I was going to eat with.
Right, either the left or the right.
Because I had already studied. I knew the protocol. And so I washed my hand, and as soon as I started to eat with my right hand, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started coming to Africa.
Wow.
I had one sad experience. I was studying at the University of Legon in the dance department.
Yeah.
And one day I was standing outside and watching a group of school children were standing outside a big room where there's a dance class going on. And I came and I stood and I was looking in the room, and all of a sudden the dance teacher said, somebody close that door. And they closed the door in my face. And I was so hurt.
Oh.
And I talked to the guy just before I was leaving to come back to the States, and he says, Madame, I need to apologize to you. I said, for what? He said, for closing the door in your face. I said, well, why did you do that? He said, because all the students that were in that room, they were from Germany. And they were paying him a lot of money for that class.
So it's kind of a racism abuse.
So he couldn't allow me to watch for free. And so I told him, I said, that really hurt me a lot, because it's taken me a long time to come home, and then to have the door closed in my face was not good.
Well, it didn't make you give up on anything.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. So I came back home and continued to teach my classes, and here I am.
Wow. Finally, living in Ghana.
6 years.
Ooh.
And my granddaughter is here, my daughter is here, and my great-granddaughter was born next door.
Wow.
With just me, my daughter, and my granddaughter. No midwife, no doctor, no nothing.
Wow. That's good.
So now you have questions.
Yeah, I have so much questions to ask you, Your story is kind of a touching story, an amazing story for people that are giving up on Africa, people that are giving up on Ghana. There is possibilities in Ghana, there is possibilities in Africa as well. So I think you should come. When you made mention of you were living in America, people were portraying negative things about Africa for you. You saw it, you came, you felt it, you went back, and now you're in Ghana. When you touched down in Ghana, the first time putting your leg on the Ghana soil, what was the energy behind that? How did you feel?
I felt like I was at home. I was in the United States. I was born in a place called Georgia, which is very hot, just like there. Feels just like here. The dirt is red, just like here.
Right.
And so I felt like I finally made it back home.
Wow. After all these negative experiences that you've had so far in America, now you went back to America again. You came to Ghana, you went back to America. What was the thing that you were preaching people that were also having negative thoughts about Africa?
I was telling them that it was not as it had been portrayed. That Ghana, Africa, they have cars, okay?
Yeah.
They have nice houses.
Right.
They have everything that people in the United States have. Everything. And on another note, My granddaughter came to visit, and I think she was like 14 when she came. And she said, Nana, when I was telling my friends and even my teachers I was coming to Africa,
Right.
they said, why do you want to go there? They live in mud huts and they're being chased by wild animals. At that point, she was in Elmina, standing on a rock, looking at the ocean. And she said, Nana, they don't know what they're missing. And so that's the truth. They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah.
And, the more of us who come and go back and talk about it, the
Right.
more will come, because we witnessed it. We've actually been here. You know, we haven't just read about it or watched it on television. We live here.
But did you perchance took something to America? Maybe you took something from Ghana to America to go and show them that, yes, indeed, you made it to Africa, you made it to Ghana?
Oh, I took lots of pictures, lots of pictures. And then remember the lady I was telling you that I stayed at her house?
Yeah.
Well, I had about $350 left from my fellowship. She was building a home, and I gave her the last $350 to finish her house. And she actually came to the United States to visit me.
Wow.
A year later, and came to the school that I was teaching at and talked to the children about Africa.
You know, I will personally say that with the impact that you had in Ghana, per se, at least you came to learn so many things about Ghana as well. But fast forward, going to America, or maybe returning to America, you went into teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be a whole lot of things that you might want some of your students to also know about Africa. Well, basically, personally, I think you were supposed to introduce a whole lot of students, or maybe you were supposed to at least give a tour to some of your students for them to come to Ghana or maybe Africa to come and study their culture too as well. Were you able to do something like that?
I have 2 students I'll talk about. The one student started with me when she was 11 years old, okay?
Yeah.
She now has her own dance company, African dance company. Her daughter has her own African dance company. She travels around the world teaching African dance. The same thing with the second student. They have their own companies because I started teaching them about the culture, and they understood how important it was. So they're in their 40s and 50s now and still teaching, because I talked to them about the African culture, the importance of it in our children's lives.
But have you perchance in your life been kind of giving up or maybe being discouraged about Africa in your life?
Never, never. And I attribute that to my ancestors. When I talk to folks here, I say they didn't take all Africans or all Ghanaians out. They took some.
Right.
Which means you could be my cousin.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know for sure.
Right.
Because let's say a mother sends her child to go to get water at the river,
Yeah.
and never comes back.
Absolutely.
That mother never knew what happened to that child. And I could be a product of that family.
Right.
So that's how I feel about it. I feel like all of you are my family. And so I treat you that way with a great deal of respect.
You know, coming to the motherland, sometimes I also want to ask these major questions about the diasporas that are coming to Africa and also Ghana as whole. You know, there are some things that you have to do to know your history or maybe to know your roots. Have you taken any consideration or maybe any processes for you to know your roots, or maybe for you to know the specific place that you are from in Africa? Have you done that?
I have done that. And I'm 46% Nigerian. And then major piece of that is also Ghana. So that's the most I've done.
Yeah.
I haven't done the complete one, which says directly where I'm from.
Yeah.
But I have done the research.
So do you perchance wanting to do that? Because maybe you need to know the specific country, or maybe even though we are all Africans, but definitely you need to do a specific thing that you need to know the country that you are from. Have you perchance willing to do that?
I want to do that. It's kind of expensive, but I do want to do it.
Oh.
Definitely.
So tell me about life in Ghana. Now, finally, you moved to Ghana. You are living in Ghana. Tell me about life in Ghana.
It's sweet, oh. It truly is. And my daughter married a Ghanaian, and they've been married for 6 years.
Wow.
They have a business together, and they work together. And in fact, my son-in-law found this house that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And then my granddaughter paid for the house for 2 years, and she used to live right next door.
Oh, okay.
This place here is like a paradise for me. You see how quiet it is here.
Absolutely quiet.
It's always quiet, which means I can meditate, I can think, and then when I want to play my drums, there's nobody that I'm disturbing. I can just play my drums. In terms of outside of the house, I feel safe. All the time, I feel safe. And that's not the same in the United States. I didn't feel safe in the United States.
Can you just clarify that for me? Because you said over here in Ghana you feel safe, but in United States you don't feel safe. What is the differences?
Last year, 1 year, just 1 year, there was at least 30,000 Black women that went missing. Black women and Black girls, and even young Black men went missing, and nobody knows where they went.
Oh.
And nobody seems to care that they're missing. And they're still being taken right now. A lot of them are taken and they're put into the sex trade around the world. Some of them are taken for their organs, for their hearts,
Right.
for the liver, whatever. And they're sold to millionaires, people that have money.
And what do they use those for? What do they use those things for?
Because if you are a millionaire, a white millionaire,
Yeah.
and your child is sick, and your child needs a heart transplant, they will pay whatever, and they'll go to whatever means to get a heart for their child. And so they have these people that are the go-between the parents and the person that's snatching the children. And so they'll get in touch with them and they'll say, I need a 5-year-old with a good heart. Can you get him for me? And so that's what they do. They take the child, wherever it is, England, Switzerland, wherever, they'll take the child there and they'll take out the organs.
Wow.
And they'll just discard the baby. And so, and then also a lot of gun violence. You could be sitting in your car sometime and 2 gang members get in a gunfight.
Right.
And you just could get caught in the crossfire and you're dead.
Well, now you just made me understood about what you said. You having peace, feeling peace, and being in Ghana is so peaceful for you. I now understand. But you cannot be in Ghana without saying that you're not doing anything. Most definitely, sometimes people normally comes to Ghana just to enjoy, to spend some time, and then go back to the States. But as of now that you are living in Ghana, at least I know there are a whole lot of opportunities in Ghana for the Ghanaians and also the diasporas too that are also coming in to the country. What are the opportunities have you seen so far, and what are you doing towards that?
I'm still teaching.
Oh,
I'm teaching anybody that will have me come in to teach adults or children.
yeah.
And in my teaching, I teach it very different from anybody else. Okay? I use words, I use positive words. I like you, you like me. Never give up, never give up.
I like to play, I like to play, I like to play, I like to play. Never give up, never give up, never give up, never give up. Are we ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
I like you. I just use language because there's too much of bad language and how children talk to each other. Even here,
Yeah.
children don't always talk nice to each other. They're not always nice. So through my drums, I teach.
Okay, well, as you use your drum to teach, I would like you to do something small with your drums, because I can see over here there are a whole lot of drums over here, and I don't know what it meant for you to have a lot of drums over here. So most definitely, since you teach drumming, I want you to do a little thing for my people that are watching us to see what you can do.
Only
So-
if you play with me.
Well, I'm not a good drummer.
That's
but-
okay. You will be when I finish. There's a drum right there.
Yeah.
Bring it in front.
Okay, let me help you with yours.
Sit her down quietly.
So, guys, as you can see today, I'm a drummer. The YouTuber that can drum as well. So as you can see, I'm drumming. I like you, you like me. Never give up, never give up.
So I will say this. One question you didn't ask me is, how long have I been playing? And this year, coming up, will be 55 years.
55 years.
Yes.
You know, with 55 years, my camera guy was not even born by then. Yeah. You see, he's laughing.
So this is all I've done for my whole life. The drum is the only thing my children have known me to do. Okay?
Yeah.
I fed them by playing the drum. I put clothes on their backs by playing the drum. Everything came through here.
From drum.
Right. And that's why I have a great deal of respect for this instrument. I also say that the reason why I play so well is because it's in my blood.
Right.
Somebody in my family, a long time ago, was a drummer. Because it comes very natural for me.
See, you just reminded me of one of, you know, sometime way back, I was in a palanquin when we were playing drum in my hometown on a festive period. You know, I wasn't a king, but you know, sometimes we boys, the guys, sometimes the youth, we organize something, then they also carry the youths in a palanquin. So I was in a palanquin as they were playing the drum. I was just doing like this, like the whole place is smiling, as if I'm the king. Meanwhile, I'm not a king.
Well, you are a king in your own way.
Yeah, maybe I am a king now. You know, I will be a big time king.
Yes.
Yeah, very big one.
Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
Okay, I want you to say doom taka tak.
Doom taka tak.
Doom, tack, tack.
Doom, taka, taka.
Now you go, doom, tack, tack.
Doom,
Watch my hands now, watch my hands.
yeah.
Look, which hand? Which hand? Which hand?
Yeah.
Which hand am I using?
This you're right.
Which hand are you using?
You know one thing. You know one thing. Let me say
It's
this.
okay, it's
Let me
okay.
say this. Sometimes people think I am an American, but I'm not American. I'm a left-handed person. So my left,
My
you know,
son,
those are the challenges that I'm facing in Ghana.
my son is left-handed.
Yes, but if you ask me, you see, if you want me to play this first,
but-
I can't do it.
But you can. All you have to do is look.
Okay,
Just
all right.
look and follow.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the doom part.
Yeah.
Doom, tack, tack.
Yeah.
Relax. Doom, tack, tack.
You know, I find it very difficult if I use my right hand.
I know.
Yeah, but so permit me to use my left hand.
No, sir.
Guys, you know, Mama want to put me on my toe, but well, let's do it. I know I'm not gonna disappoint you guys.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to relax. Okay.
Okay.
Also, I was born left-handed, and I was born with another finger. So they took the finger off, and then they made me use my right hand. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy they did because I'm ambidextrous now. It doesn't matter which hand. Okay. So it'll be a little uncomfortable, but you'll grow.
Yeah.
Okay? Doom, tack, tack, tack. Doom, tack, tack, tack. Doom. Let's go. Doom. Don't watch me. Watch your hands. Watch your hands. Keep saying it. Doom, tack, tack. Say it. Doom, tack, tack, tack. Don't change. Close your eyes. And don't listen to me. Keep saying that. Keep doing that. You did it.
You know you're a good teacher.
I think so.
No, you don't think so. I know you're a good teacher.
Thank you.
You know what? Guys, if you are watching me, you need to come back to Africa. Just come to the motherland. With my mom over here, she's very inspiring. Why don't you just come and learn how to play drums? At least come and learn the culture. If you don't like it, you can just go back to the States. Africa is everywhere. Africa is big. Africa is the key. Just like I normally say, is Africa the key to the world. So what are you waiting for? Just come. Come and feel it. Come and enjoy it. I am here playing drums. And I'm so happy. You are also out there watching me. So if you are watching this video, kindly comment, share, and make sure you support Mommy too as well. Mom, I needed to ask you one complicated question. You said you fed your kids in drumming. Most of the things that you've acquired in life was from drumming.
Absolutely.
Is drumming a lucrative job?
No.
Why?
I'll tell you, in the United States in particular, I would offer classes and the African Americans wouldn't come. And that goes back again to being brainwashed about Africa, African culture, African clothing, all of that. And like my song, Don't Worry, Child, says, the first thing they took was our names. Because when you have your own name, you can trace your roots.
Right.
So they made sure they took the names away.
They just want to take you off your
The
identity.
next thing they took was the way we like to dress.
Absolutely.
Made us dress in Western clothing to be accepted. Okay? So everything that made us African was taken. So when I started talking to people about taking an African drum or dance class, oh, I'm good. Nah, that's not me. Even when I offered free classes, they wouldn't come. So no, I didn't make a lot of money. I still don't make a lot of money. But I have no choice but to continue to teach and to share, because there are some, like you, who get it. Okay? So I have to continue to teach. The ones that showed up were always the white people.
Oh.
They would come to class faithfully. They would send their children to my class. And at one point I told people, it's been over 40 years now, I said, one day it's going to come a place where there will be all white African dance companies.
Right.
They are there all over the world. There are white people dressed in African clothing, singing African songs.
Absolutely.
With African names, and they're teaching our children African dance and drumming as if they invented it.
You know, I don't want to interrupt what you were saying. Recently, there was a video that I shot about citizenship in Ghana. There were a whole lot of people that were being given a Ghanaian citizenship, 524 people. I was there and I recorded a video. I saw the energy from white people, people from Germany, people from Switzerland, having a Ghanaian citizenship. They were so happy. You know, I did ask a couple of questions from them. They were like, this is where they are. This is where they want to be. Mm-hmm. They want to be in Africa, and they love Africa. But why is it that we Africans, the diasporas, we don't value Africa? We don't value our culture. What is wrong?
I told you why. Right from the beginning, when the slave ships landed in America, we were stripped of everything that made us African. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, very painful. Do you know what a corral is, where you keep animals?
Yeah.
Okay. They used to bring in a bunch of people, white men who had plantations. And they would bring Africans, our ancestors, to this corral. And they would be naked, no clothes on. They would be in chains. And so let's say you are a father, right?
Yeah.
You have 3 children. You have a wife. And at home here in Africa, you took care of your children. They never had to want for anything. You took care of your wife. Everybody was happy. They were eating well, having lots of fun. You were teaching your child how to do things. So now, here we are in this big corral, and you are here, your wife is over there, your 3 children are here. And so this white white plantation owner comes, and he tells your wife to open her mouth so he can look at her teeth. He tells her to open her legs so he can look at her private parts.
Right.
Tells her to turn around so he can look at her behind. And then they start bidding on her. How much will you pay for her? How much will you pay for her? And so if Mr. Thomas, the plantation owner's name, Mr. Thomas gets the highest bid, he will take your wife away. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely.
And she's looking at you saying, why don't you help me? And you can't. So she's gone to Mr. Thomas's plantation. You'll never see her again. Then he does the same thing to your 11-year-old daughter. And Mr. Robinson wants her because she'll make a lot of babies for him. So he gets her and he takes her away to another plantation. That happens. Then your son looks at you. He's with tears in his eyes and says, help me, please help me. And he's taken away. That kind of energy and feeling is inside of all the African Americans in the United States, especially the men, because the men have been felt to be helpless, okay? Because they couldn't do anything. And so that whole feeling in men, African American men, is still there.
So in your own way, how do we help? Let me put it this way. How do we help to bring those things that they've taken back from the diasporas or maybe the Africans? How do we help to re-bring our culture to us again? We have to portray our culture to everybody to respect us as an African. So how do we bring back our culture? How do we help other people that have different mindsets about Africa?
It's happening already. And part of it is happening because of people like myself and other dancers and drummers and culturalists that have been preaching about it for years.
Right.
The other thing we have to realize too is the part that our ancestors play in it, okay?
Yeah.
They are pushing for us to come back home. That's something that nobody ever really thinks about, is that the ancestors are saying, go home, go home. And as we come home, everybody benefits from it.
You know, coming back home is another one problem that both the Africans and the diasporas are facing in terms of culture balancing.
Mm-hmm.
African Americans or diasporas has their own culture coming to Ghana. Ghanaians or maybe African, we also have our culture living in the continent.
Mm-hmm.
In your own way, we have two cultures over here. How do we balance the culture? How do we blend those two cultures for us to exist or maybe live within our own continent?
First word is respect. That's the first word. Diasporans need to respect the fact that Ghanaians have been here their entire time. This is your country.
Yeah.
This is it, okay? I have told African Americans, before you come to Ghana or anywhere else in Africa, study the culture.
Absolutely.
Find out what the protocols are, how you should act, how should you deal with elders, how do you deal with kings, how do you deal with priests, how do you deal with chiefs. You have to know all these protocols. Otherwise, you could always offend someone. And when you offend someone, it's not easily forgiven.
Absolutely.
So even though I feel at home here, I still have to realize that my link to Africa was broken.
Right.
Okay, so there's that whole big gap in there between us. And so when we come to Ghana, and I'll tell this again to diasporans, try not to bring necessarily your culture here and how you deal with people. You have to deal differently. You have to have respect for folks here. You know, because we haven't been here all this time. You have. So if I come in here and I disrespect you, I disrespect your home, I disrespect your children, we're not going to get along.
Absolutely.
Okay, by the same token, we don't like to be called Obrunis because we're not. And it hurts our hearts that we waited all of our lives to come home and then be called Bruni.
So how do you feel when somebody calls you Obroni?
I tell them I'm not. I say, look at my skin, look at my nose, look at my eyes. I'm part of you. So don't call me that. I stop them right in their tracks. Oh, madame, I'm sorry. That's how I deal with it.
You know, you live within a community that are full of Fantis. Language barrier is also a key in bridging the gap. Have you per chance?
I have tried to learn Fanti. My old brain has a hard time retaining it. So that was another reason why I chose to come to Ghana, is because of the language.
Yeah.
That most people understand English.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most definitely, I would say, I will label you as a failure in Fanti because you are not willing to learn the Fanti.
Oh, it's not that I'm not willing. I've tried.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
So you failed.
Oh, yeah, I failed then. Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, I think I have to give you an assignment.
Okay.
On that. You get a teacher, get a Fanti teacher, or maybe get a neighbor, you know. Ghanaian neighbors are so good, they are willing to do everything to teach you the language. We Ghanaians, we are good about that. So just get a good neighbor that you can talk to him or her, and they are going to teach you how to speak the language. It's not a rush. You need to take your time and then learn it bit by bit. Maybe sometimes there are some stuff you need to write it down for you to always reminding yourself about whatever the person was saying. Yeah. You know, my last 2 questions that I want to ask you. The day I met you was when you were playing the drum, when they were supporting the school kids and so forth. You played a very wonderful drum. Everybody was so impressed. You made mention of drumming is not a lucrative job for you. That is what you said. You love what you do.
I do.
So why you know that drumming is not a lucrative job for you? People doesn't pay you much in drumming. Why did you go to that event to go and play a drum?
Because I have to. That's my mission. I really have no choice. A lot of people don't understand, to be an artist, any kind of artist, is coming from birth. Someone can learn how to lay bricks. Someone can learn how to do electricity. But we have no choice. We are artists, and we have to do it. And a lot of times, that's how we get taken advantage of, is because people say, well, I know she'll do it because she loves it. And they're right. So I have to find other ways to make money. You know, I'm selling products. I have a website. I'm trying to sell products on my website, whatever. I didn't get paid for it the other day when I played. I didn't get anything.
So it was just for, let me put it this way, you just had the feeling just to go do that.
I did it for the children. Did you see how excited these children were?
Yeah. And you were so enthusiastic too, as well.
Right. Right. So I do it for the children, mostly. I help them with the English language through the drumming. But basically, I have no choice but to do what I do. Okay. Now, I have to blame myself also for not being lucrative, because I've never really pushed to make a lot of money off of it. I'm watching how the Europeans now, they're making lots of money.
Well, I would say it isn't too late.
Say it again.
It's never too late.
No, and that's why I'm glad you're here to help publicize what
Right.
I do. Because another piece of it is if people don't know, they can't hire me. They can't do anything to
Right.
help me.
Right.
So
You know, my final question that I want to ask you, maybe it's kind of a complicated question, but I think I have to ask. You've been a drumming for over 50 years now. You are not a Ghanaian, but you are a Ghanaian. Okay? You are not a Ghanaian, but you are a Ghanaian. Yes. Because I have the same skin color with you. People say negative things about Africa. And you are in Africa. You are in Ghana. How would you use your drum to bridge the gap between the African and also the diasporas? How would you use your drum to boost the economy of Africa? How would you use your drum?
you say to boost the economy?
Yes, of Africa.
I don't know if I can do that because I never think about doing something like that. I think about playing my drum and using my drum to boost the morale of Africans, in particular African children. And in boosting the morale and talking to them about how to be successful, I think that helps. You know, because I've worked with some young African males, and I boosted them up so high that they went back to school and they got the degree, and then now they have their own business. So that's the way I see me helping in
Right.
terms of the economy.
So how would you also use your drum to bridge the gap between diasporas and and Africans too as well? How would you use your drum to bring more African Americans, more diasporas to Africa?
I've been doing that, and they are coming because of me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I have my own website, and I'm always encouraging people. My daughter has a tour company, and when her tours would come, she would bring them to me. And I would talk to them and I'd teach them, and they go, wow, this is really nice. I'm gonna have my sister come with me the next time. We can only do it that way for me. If you have an idea of how I can do it more efficiently, I'm open to suggestions from anybody.
Okay. Your final words. And I hope you're gonna announce your website, your Facebook handle, your Instagram, and everywhere, because I know so many people want to support you. You know what? Don't just watch this video. Please, just try to be supportive. Try to support a mother. Try to support a sister. Try to support a grandma, because she's doing a whole lot. She's bridging gaps. She's teaching a whole lot of things, a whole lot of culture for so many people. You know what? I wish we all support her, because she's doing a wonderful job that it's very difficult. It's very difficult. She's just doing a wonderful job. So, Mom, if you have a social media handle, you can just put it out there for people that are ready to patronize your items, maybe your drums, your merchandise that you'll be selling and so forth. If they are willing to purchase them, they will also help in purchasing that. But don't forget that when you go to the website, don't just go and look. Do something, purchase, so that Mom can also make something to promote Africa, something to bring back people that are living in America to Africa. So, Mom.
The other thing I want to say is in July, I'll be 75 years old.
Wow.
So it's never too late to start playing this drum and get the value out of it. One of my students in the States is 91 years old, and she didn't start playing until she was 90. So it's never too late.
Right.
Okay. So I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's Linda Thomas Jones, Linda Thomas Jones. On Instagram, it's the same thing. And my website is officialmamafasi.com. officialmamafasi.com. And Fasi is spelled F-A-S-I.
You know what, guys, as you are watching, her information is going to be on my YouTube description, and also is going to be on my screen too as well. So as you are watching, I'll put a link below of all the social media handles and also the websites in the description. So please make sure you go there, then you check. Don't just go and check. Make sure you patronize, make sure you throw your support to mom. And don't forget to also like our video, share, and start commenting, because we need more comments, we need more questions. So as you are watching, today is our day. We are with mom. She's a celebrity. So don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.